Welcome back to our series on becoming an AI business analyst. In this video, we're going to dive into one of the most critical skills for success in this field, bridging the gap between business teams and AI specialists. By the end of the video, you'll have some actionable strategies to ensure smooth collaboration and successful AI project implementation. So let's get started. Number one, why does bridging the gap matter? Well, as a business analyst, you're the liaison between the technical team and the business. And what we've seen in the last 18 months is that AI projects often fail due to misalignment between business goals, technical execution, and expected outcomes. Business teams might focus on high-level outcomes, while the AI teams are concerned with the technical feasibility. As an AI business analyst, your job is to connect these perspectives to ensure both sides are working towards shared goals. So there are a couple of steps I'd like to keep in mind, and I've broken it down into four. So step one is understanding perspectives. From the business side, they want to focus on outcomes like increasing revenue, reducing costs, improving customer satisfaction, or saving time. They are often very unfamiliar with the technical complications of AI. And the key challenge is really communicating those business needs in a way a technical team can act. From an AI team perspective, they're focused on data, algorithms, model performance, etc., etc. They might lack the understanding of broader business context. And the key challenge with them is explaining technical and financial constraints in non-technical terms. So for example, I was looking at finding a way to improve out-of-stock performance for a CPG company last year. The data science team wanted to create a neural network in order to collect a bunch of data and build models on top. While that was a great idea, and it was definitely something that would have gotten us to our business goal, the real challenge that arose from that was the cost of building a neural network is extremely high. We ended up building something called a linear regression model. It's significantly cheaper and got us really close in terms of an outcome of what we were looking for. So while the neural network probably would have been 99% accurate, but it would cost $5 to $10 million to implement, the linear regression model was about 90% accurate, but cost us less than $50,000 to build out. And so you have to understand the different perspectives of of the business team and the AI team. And this is really how the business analyst role is changing. You need to look at both the stakeholders, the technical team's perspectives, but because there is not a lot of safeguards in place in the AI implementation in organizations, you have an opportunity as a business analyst to step up and ask questions about cost, about options, and really get a good understanding so that when you put together your documentation, everyone reading it understands the outcomes, the success metrics, and any kind of constraints that we need to keep in mind. Step two is translating business needs into AI requirements. So you need to know how to ask the right questions. And these include like, what are the problems we're trying to solve? Is the data available? And if it is it sufficient for an AI solution? And if it's not efficient, are there third parties that we could go to and acquire data from in order to accomplish the data needs for this AI solution? And then more importantly, what does success look like for the business? From there, you want to document clear requirements. You want to break down those high-level business goals into specific actionable tasks for the AI team. So instead of just saying improve customer retention, develop a predictive model to identify at-risk customers within 30 days of inactivity. Things like that will help you deliver solutions that have clear outcomes, and then that way you can track and determine your success as a team and an organization. And then another step in terms of just translating those business needs into AI requirements is really being that bridge in the language gap. So avoid jargon with communicating with the different teams, simplify the technical explanations for the non-technical people. I like to use things like flowcharts or dashboards to explain AI workflows, but find what works for your team and your stakeholders. But make sure you're bridging that gap because AI is just such a new field in terms of its growth and its possibilities that a lot of people on the business side don't fully comprehend it. So you got to meet them where they're at and help them understand what you're trying to deliver. Step three is fostering a collaborative environment and gaining alignment. So you do this by establishing a common goal, making sure your documentation is very specific in terms of what you're building and the predicted success metrics and outcomes. Now, I like to use KPIs. They're really meaningful. I like to talk about cost and accuracy rates and really trying to be conservative up front because we do not know how that implementation is going to go. And a lot of things are being built as we go. So models that you may use today may be deprecated in 6 months because there's been 7 or 8 updates since. So that's something you need to keep in mind. You also want to encourage cross-team communication. So schedule regular check-ins to align on progress and adjust challenges. And in this ever-changing world, you want to stay close to your stakeholders because something that they might want today is not necessarily what they're going to want in 6 months because the world is changing so much. And make sure you're leveraging collaborative tools. In the organizations I work with, we use Jira, Azure DevOps, Slack, Teams, whatever you need to do to ensure transparency and streamlined communication. And then step 4, as a new AI BA, there's a lot of gaps in organizations. And so in your role, you can jump into the piece where you get to manage expectations and mitigate risks. So you can work with teams to ensure that timelines are accurate, really understanding the requirements, understanding the limitations of the technology, understanding that your IT organization might not have servers that are set up to run Python and understanding that may take some time for IT to set those up. So these IT AI projects often take longer than expected due to hardware constraints and getting those addressed, data preparation or model training. Make sure you understand that and document that earlier because I've seen projects that were supposed to take 60 days end up taking 6 months because all of the preliminary work hasn't been completed. And so we had to take time to set up the servers, make sure we got the data, do some modeling training, and then finally we could get to building out the project. So set realistic timelines, highlight the risks and limitations, and then just find a way to provide regular updates. As an AI business analyst, a lot is changing. So try to keep yourself informed and then keep your stakeholders informed with progress reports, both with achievements and obstacles. I know that this is going away from a typical business analyst role, but that is how the world has changed in the last 18 months. BAs are now expected to do a lot more. And so bridging that gap between the business and the AI team is really about everything I just mentioned before, but just to kind of recap, fostering that understanding of the end goal, collaborating, ensuring alignment. And as an AI BA, you really play a pivotal role in ensuring that project success. In our next and final video in this series, we're going to explore really how you can launch your career as an AI business analyst. So I'll see you all next time. Thank you.